Welcome back to the channel. This is Mr. Mental Health coming from you live. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment. I'll talk back. Today's topic is generational curses. And I feel like a lot of times we don't understand some of the things that happen to us or keep happening to us. Or, I've seen situations where, just an example of, somebody dying on the same day, or some similarities to death, or, of course, the death comes in threes ordeal. But what I really want to address with generational curses is us passing our trauma or our issues on to our kids or friends, family, and it continues for a lifetime. And I know a lot of times, especially from a financial standpoint, we try to make changes in terms of for your 401k, in terms of life insurance policies, in terms of you investing in stock or whatever, currency, whatever you're trying to do to help yourself, to help your family, to help your kids, so they don't have to work as hard. But also, you changing the narrative from a financial standpoint. But another thing that we need to do is change the way we think from a psychological standpoint. And a lot of times we don't. We really just go about it as if nothing is going on. Or, some people do see therapists, some people do address their issues so they don't continue to pass those traits, basically. And you can start with a genogram. Sometimes you don't even realize some of the things that you probably can't even escape due to not being able to understand, like, what happened to you in the past or where you come from. Where were your family born and raised? Where did you originate from? Are you from your city? Are your parents from your city? Did y'all relocate? Did certain people in your family have cancer? Did certain people in your family get shot? You know what I mean? You need to find those things out. Like, we've had to, when you get into mental health counseling, it's actually a book. It's actually part of a class. It's actually something that you have to learn, you have to tap into. And I had to do that myself. And that's how I found out we originated out of Trenton, Tennessee. Grandfather had a farm, really had a street. You know what I mean? Like, you find those things out. But I also found out something that was very interesting. I'm just kind of tapping into me real quick. Is how my mom, her mom, rest her soul, my grandma, got sick when she was young, maybe 12, hepatitis C. Hope I'm saying this correct. And so from 12 to, my grandma really recovered, took her years because she almost died. My mom didn't have that motherly love or motherly figure around. So she struggled in a lot of departments, which probably, pushed her to where she, ended up at. And let's fast forward to me. My mom wasn't around for my sisters and brothers. We dealt with her drug addiction and how, it affected us growing up. So we didn't have a mom growing up. And then let's fast forward to my daughter, who is 13. Her mom died of cancer when she was sick. So it's like, you don't know these things if you don't talk to your family. If you don't try to break down where you come from, what you stand for, what you're about. And I think that's very valuable to understanding who you are as a person and why do you have anger issues, why you have trust issues, why you have emotional issues, why you struggle to accept responsibility, why you struggle as a man, why you struggle as a female, why you struggle in a lot of key areas in your life and you don't have any answers. And I feel like, Will Smith said, and I adopt this method, is that it's not your responsibility. I'm sorry, it's not your fault what happened to you, but it's your responsibility to fix it. And we don't fix a lot of things. We just feel like we could just go through life But meanwhile, you, like I said in the beginning of my video, is that you pass these traits down, and these traits continue to affect your kids, and then you wonder why they end up dating exact people like you from a domestic violence, from people who are somewhat similar to your characteristics, to your behavior. And it's because they embody, or they feel like what you are is correct. And it may be, but some of those traits they don't need to pass on to their kids, to their friends. And it just continues to cycle through generations, and you have the whole generational curse. But I think the number one thing is accepting accountability. You know, you can't continue to point the finger when you feel like it's something. I think, like I said, I said in all my videos, is that a big reason I feel like I've took this path or become who I am is because I accept constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Some stuff I don't really care what you say, but some stuff I do want to fix so I can become a better person. You know what I mean? Today I got an opportunity to, you know what I mean, see and being somewhat involved with my son voting. And I feel like that's huge because no disrespect to my dad, but we didn't go voting together. You know what I mean? And we didn't do those type of things. And, you know, but passing that on. So in his mind, he would start thinking like, all right, my dad was there. And, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean? You don't even have to say things. They watch you and see you do things. And that changes the narrative, that changes the behavior, that changes decision making. And you know, sometimes it can be minor as voting, but voting goes to graduations, to preparation for job interviews, for, you know what I mean? It's just it started building character, building them as men, as young ladies. You know what I mean? So, but we got to start with us. You got to take some type of responsibility, some type of accountability for your actions, and seek consultation. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people who walk around here like nothing is wrong and everything is wrong. And they don't want to admit to some of their issues. They don't want to deal with grief, death. They don't want to deal with the last relationship. You know what I mean? They just feel like they just, you know, go to church, stay away from them for a while, boom, get back out there and do their thing, and boom, something happened. You're right back triggered because you never address the real issue. Breaking a cycle. You know, what are we afraid of to break the cycle? What's wrong with breaking the cycle? What's wrong with changing everything that you once, because a lot of things that when you grew up, you thought was the right thing to do, and come to find out it was wrong. You know what I mean? You don't have to believe in what your parents taught you. You know, you got to, you know what I mean? That's the whole thing. You know, even the Bible says you got to study, you know, verse by verse, line by line, precept upon precept. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with reading. Self-education. You know what I mean? Can nobody take that from you? But once you self-educate, then you have to make better decisions. When you know better, you do better. And that's the same thing. So we have to break the cycle. You know what I mean? And then building bridges. You know, a lot of times it's a missed art, in my opinion, in generational curses, is because when you become toxic and you don't address your own issues, then you pass those toxic traits on to the next. And then what happens is you start burning bridges with people. You know what I mean? As this thing in life, man, you never know what path you have to come back across. And the person that you probably dogged out the most, even in the worst moment, you know what I mean? You still don't do it. I feel like, me personally, because you just never know what could happen. You can see them in a bad car accident and have to help them. You never know if they're on the list for a kidney. You just never know how a person will come back around full circle and that you may need them. So we have to. My father used to always teach me, like, no matter what you do in life, don't burn bridges. Build bridges. You may not like a person, they may not like you, but you never know what you may need that person for, they may need you for. And we have to build better bridges. And I think another thing I want to address is mirror yourself. You know, it takes a lot to sit down and say, I'm the problem. I apologize. I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z. I will do better. I have to do better. Because, you know, a lot of times the first thing that somebody tell you something wrong, you become defensive, you know, and I think it's human nature to defend yourself. But sometimes, you know, you can't defend wrong, and everybody's been there. I've been there. where, I'm like, man, I ain't apologizing, and you're like an idiot, you know what I mean? Because you didn't take the high road. And so once you recognize that, you were the problem, then you have to make changes. You have to mirror yourself. And, I honestly feel like when you do these type of things, you can begin to start living a better life. And the goal is to, live a healthy lifestyle, to make better decisions, to uplift your kids to where, y'all are not living in this bubble to where you're angry all the time. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with, children's moms and dads. They don't get along, they don't talk, but how effective is that? You know what I mean? You take all the hurt and all the pain and you use that to hurt the kids, or you use that to make sure that the other person suffers. You know what I mean? But what is the goal in that? Nobody wins, everybody loses. And then you still have these same issues. And then you pass those down to where your kids starting to hate people or do things that had nothing to do with anything, but because they seen a parent and they thought it was the right thing to do, that's what they do. You know what I mean? So we all are responsible, and I get into, why I really chose mental health and why I feel like I got to be the face of people that need to address their issues. You know what I mean? I look like you. Like, I have issues still to this day. You know what I mean? But you can't stand there and point the finger or blame him, blame this, or this happened to me. Or, can't do that anymore. And you have to accept responsibility and accountability. But no, it's not. But you have to accept responsibility and accountability. Sorry about that. Accept responsibility and accountability. And I honestly feel like if you do those things, then you will start seeing progress. You know what I mean? That's the goal in life, to become progressive in certain areas of your life. But yeah, this is a generational curse video. Let me know what you think. You agree, disagree, comment. Like I say, I comment back. I will comment back. You know what I mean? I'm all new. But my plan and my goal is to, put up at least 2 or 3 videos a week discussing, certain topics. There's a whole lot of stuff I want to get to. I want to get into dating. I want to get into marriage. I want to get into single life. I want to get into being a single dad. I want to get into a lot of stuff, anxiety, depression, certain topics that arise, this whole presidential debate. I want to get into a lot of that, but generational curses have to stop, and we have to hold ourselves at a higher standard, hold ourselves accountable, and then we definitely have to educate our kids and educate ourselves so they won't pass these traits on to their kids, to where we can break the cycle. I go by Mr. Mental Health, also Dwayne LaRue. Like I said, like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank y'all. I'm out.